It's not about having time. It's about making time. That is our quote of the week. Hey everyone, welcome to Coffee Chat with Danny, where we are live every Monday, bringing you a new quote of the week, a dose of motivation as we shift into the new week. So for those of you that don't know me, hi, my name is Danny. It's great to meet you. I'm a hypnotherapist that helps people release past traumas, shift those limiting beliefs, and really just get out of our own way so that we can find peace in the chaos. You might call me the peace teacher. So we are here live every Monday, bringing you a new quote of the week. And so let's talk about this one. It's not about having time. It's about making time. Now, grab your juice, protein shake, water, whatever you're drinking, coffee, tea, because we're getting started. So let me ask you, what have you not been doing? What have you been saying around time? Is time something you never have enough of? Or is time something that seems to be slipping through your fingers? For a long time, that used to happen to me. I used to find myself not having enough time. At this time, I was running an online business. I had an online store. I was working full-time in the corporate world, and I was studying the mind. And so I was learning all these aspects about business and getting my stuff online. I was teaching classes in corporate, and I was over here learning. But there never was enough time. Now you might be thinking, well, you were doing a lot, Danny. Maybe that's why there wasn't enough time. Sure. But when I stopped to look at it, I realized there was also some time that maybe, just maybe, I could have utilized better. So when I think back to it, what did I do when I got home from work? What did I do in the morning? What were those hours of time that what was I doing, right? When I wasn't in my corporate job, what was I doing? And when I stopped to look at it, I realized there was a lot more time than I had thought. I actually had about 10 hours a week that really I wasn't doing anything. And this is outside of my normal sleeping hours. I do love to get at least 7 hours of sleep. I strive to get that every single night, and pretty much that's my average. I know that with 7 hours of sleep for me, it works perfectly. I get up, I have energy, and I'm ready to go. So 7 hours of sleep is important. But on top of that, on top of working in corporate, and on top of getting my 7 hours of sleep, I still had this extra time. Although I was working on my business and I was studying. Where I felt like I didn't have enough time, I felt as if the time was slipping through my fingers, as if there wasn't enough time. When I would see these people, and I would see them getting things done, I would see them doing massive work. I'm like, how do they do this, right? How are they getting these extra hours? Like, where are they for me? And when I really looked at how I was spending my time, I realized there were certain things that I was making a priority. Certain times I was making my business a priority, where I was nonstop, right? Uploading photos and taking pictures, uploading photos, finding items, describing them, figuring out the website. I was doing all of this stuff. and I was spending a lot of my time on it. And then other times it was studying. My business would take a back seat and I was studying quite a bit. So I was getting more and more involved in learning about the mind. And then there were times where my corporate job took priority, where I was doing projects and I was, you know, learning new strategies with training, and I was building new courses and creating new ideas. And so that what was consuming my time. And then there was the family time, right? My love, and at the time she was 10 years old, right? I was spending time with my love and the 10-year-old, and it was like I devoted that time for them. And then somewhere along the way, there was some time for me, but it wasn't very much. And so I constantly wanted more time to read, more time to work on my business, more time to spend with the family. But when I looked at it, I had the time that I needed. It was just how I was arranging my day. It was how I was managing my activities, because we only get 24 hours in a day, right? We all have the same amount of hours, but yet some people seem to do more than others. How is that? Why is that? Mainly, from what I have seen, not only in myself, but also in the clients that I get to work with, is we are spending our time worrying about stuff. We spend our time trying to figure things out that happened in the past that really don't matter anymore. We spend a lot of time saying about back then, before I used to be able to do this, right? But here's the thing, we spend so much time worrying about what's going to happen or what's happened in the past that we forget about our present moments. We forget about what's going on now. There was a couple of weeks ago, we had started watching a new Netflix series, and we've done this before where we get into like these kind of like, I like to call them like mountains and not hills, hills and valleys, mountains and hills and valleys. And, you know, sometimes we're like, you know, my love and I are like, we're on the same kind of frequency of just getting things done, and we're in this study mode, and so like we don't watch much TV, like hardly any. And then there's some times where it's like we find a really good Netflix series and we just like want to consume it, right? And so the other day, or probably about 2-3 weeks ago, we started watching a new series. It was actually the Roman Empire. If you haven't watched it, season 1 and 2 are awesome. And so we were consuming Netflix, this TV show, Roman Empire, and we normally would just watch 1, maybe 2 episodes, right? Because they're about 40 minutes long. So if you think about that, that's about an hour and a half of TV. It's like watching a movie, right? And so we would watch that hour and a half, and then, you know, I'd usually pick up my book and start reading, or, you know, do a little bit of work before I get into my evening routine, right? And so we started getting into this habit of watching 3 episodes a night. And at one point, you know, we were so consumed by it that I looked at the clock, right? We had sat down at like 6 o'clock to watch a show. All of a sudden, it's like almost 9 o'clock, and I'm like, where did the evening go, right? Well, we had basically sat on the couch for over 2 hours watching TV, and it was like, wow, it hit me flat in the face. Like, I just spent 2.5 hours. Don't get me wrong, the show's great, and I loved it, and I got to spend time with my love, but there were so many other things that I could have been doing. And granted, sometimes we do need that time. We do need to take in that time and just chill out and just relax and just enjoy something, right? But how many days are we doing that in a row? How many months might we be doing that? How many weeks? That's the question. Because then I said, oh, I didn't get this done, and I'm behind on this now, right? I chose in that moment to watch those shows. I made that decision. Then I also had to look at I can't complain that I don't have enough hours. I can't complain that I'm not getting something done. I chose to Netflix binge. So I want you to take a look at your time this week. What is a priority for you? What are you making time for? Last week we talked about action expresses priorities. So what is it that you're taking action on? What is it that you're prioritizing? Because what is a priority will get done. As I said, there's moments in my life where my business is number one, my family is number one, and I'm number one. That rotates in now all the time, and there's this rhythm that I have of my life. And I know in some instances, I'm going to put different things as a priority. What is that for you? What's a priority for you right now? What are you working towards? What are your goals? As you enter this week, I want you to look at that. What are you making time for? And what are you not? What is your priority? Look at your actions. Because we all have the same amount of time. We all have 24 hours. How are we using them? All right, that is it for us today. If you feel like you're not sure how to find your own rhythm, if you feel like you're off and you don't know why, and you're trying to figure out what that might look like for you, join me for a free 30-minute call. It's a Clear the Mind Clutter call. We'll take a look at what you're doing in your day-to-day, and I'll help you find those pockets of time, find those pockets of hours, so that you can get what you want to get done. You can make what you want a priority. I'll put the link down below so you can click on it and schedule your call. All right, have a great rest of your week, and remember to be you and to be amazing. Bye.